All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. This is our second call for Ambition Academy. It is March 13th, and here we are. And thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your night again to show up for these calls. We really can't stress how important it is to be on these calls every single week. So it's really, really fantastic that you guys are making this a priority for your business and making sure to get on them, because just catching the recording isn't the same, and a lot of times things come up and people get busy and you just never really get around to it and you just kind of miss out. So thanks for being on. Tonight what we are going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about a couple things, but we're going to be doing the business activity tracker, because one of the really key components to making sure that you're having success in your business is to track the behaviors that will actually build your business. And so if you're not tracking it, it's really hard to see where you need to improve, what you kind of slipped up on, what you need to add more to, and things like that. So Dana and Laura are going to cover the business activity tracker, which is in the file section in the group that you guys are in. So if you don't have it, you can go in there and you can print it out. And they're going to be going over that. And then I am going to end with talking about Instagram stories. I love it. So anyways, you girls can take it over and I will mute myself.
Hi guys, how is everybody? Okay, so we are going to cover, this is actually a new tracker that I recently made, because if you guys saw, Kathy posted 2 separate trackers. That's a basic Power Hour tracker, and then also an Instagram tracker. And basically what I did was I created a tracker that just has the combination of the most important things of both Facebook and Instagram. So it was all in one little place, because if you're anything like me, you function a lot better if there's something in front of you that you can check off as you go. So highly suggest going into the files, printing out multiple copies of that, of the page 1 part at least, because you're going to be using a new one every single week. The second page of that tracker is actually monthly check-ins. And they're a little above basics level, but it's really important for you to start knowing how to track your business, check your Coach Online office, learn your volumes and all of that kind of stuff right from the get-go. Because you are a business owner and those things are important. So Laura and I are going to just go through, run down the tracker and just kind of break it all down for you, exactly how to be doing what, so that there is no guesswork, so that you can sit down with your pretty little tracker every day and you can check that off the list. I make a to-do list for my day every day, and that is the first thing that goes on there, and I can get through it in about 40 minutes or less if I'm really focused. So there is no excuse of why you can't find a nugget of time or break it up into 2 sections of 20 minutes or 4 minutes or 4 10-minute sections.
4 minutes.
4
I'm
minutes.
going to do this for 4 minutes.
If you can do this in 4 minutes, you're going to build a massive business.
That'd be amazing.
You're going to just crush it, and let us know how you do it. But anyways, what I'm getting at is
speaking of 4 minutes, Dana, really quick, you guys, there are things you can do on here in less than 4 minutes. So if you were a busy working mom, when you go to the bathroom, bring your damn phone and friend request people while you're going to the bathroom. I have done that while working the whole time that I've been a coach. So there are no joke things you can do. You can message 1 person or 2 people if you're pooping. Okay. So
whatever you're doing.
I'm a nurse. I like to talk about poop. Okay.
And seriously, if you're on the go though, print this tracker and put it in your purse. And if you're sitting in the school pickup line waiting to pick up your kids, bust it out and check a couple off. There's no excuse not to do these things. And I know that all 3 of us really want to nail in that basics are what build your business. If you are not doing the basics, your business is not growing. You will stay in the same place. You will not be helping people. You won't be growing in rank or income or any of that. But if you do these simple basics, guys, you can do anything in this business. And more importantly, if you can nail these, you can teach other people to nail these. And that's how you build a successful organization and team that can do what you're doing, right? So these are important. Take it seriously. The first few things on this list, if you don't have it printed out, are your journey. And we covered this in week 1 of the training. That is your commitment to you. So your workouts on there, your shake is on there, your nutrition being in check, or your meal prep, whatever you're doing with that. And then your personal development. So the being on track with your journey is pretty self-explanatory. You don't need me to tell you that, but like making time for your fitness, your nutrition, drinking your shake, doing your meal prep, because how are you going to teach somebody else how to do that, or why it's important, or how are you going to show what's possible if you're not doing it, right? And this is not perfection, but doing your best to really lean in and build that transformation and that testimony for yourself. Your PD, we talked a lot about that last week too, about the importance of your personal growth. If you can grow your mindset and your skills and outgrow those fears and those limiting beliefs that you have, again, you can do anything. So it's a combination of all these things consistently that lead to massive changes. The next one on there is 5 new friend requests on Facebook. So just a couple simple examples of how you can do this. When you're a brand new coach, the people you may know tool is really fantastic. It gives you suggestions of friends. They might be friends of friends. They might be people you knew from college. It might be people you knew from high school. But think about it, like, who are moms that you bump into at your kids' schools, events that you go out to, people from work, if you're comfortable adding them. There are so many ways that you can connect with people. And for me, predominantly, I can tell you that the majority of my customers and my team have come from networking in mom groups. So figure out interest groups that you are into, whether that's hiking or running or biking, or if your kids are into hockey, like whatever. There are so many interest groups on Facebook. Type in the search bar. A lot of times I'll type in like Orlando moms or Tampa moms, and all these groups will pop up, and you can figure out which ones you're going to request to join. Now, I don't suggest going in there and posting like, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach who wants to sign up with me, because a lot of groups will boot you out for doing stuff like that. But you can interact in these groups, ask questions, add value, respond to people, and then add 5 people a day to your network, so that you have new, fresh eyes on what you're sharing. And guys, like, this is so important, because if you are not consistently adding to your network, you're gonna run out of people to talk to, form with, invite. You don't want that to happen. We can all say we've been coaches for me, 4 years, Kathy, almost 4, Laura, about 3. We have all built our businesses predominantly on social media. And this is a huge key to that, is always bringing in new eyes to what you're doing. And just a quick tip before Laura covers how to network on Instagram. I just want to say, once you've added people to your network, some people will accept your request, some people will not. So I suggest going into your sent requests once in a while and deleting ones that haven't been responded to. If there's someone you're like, I really vibe with this girl, like I really like what she posts or shares or how she looks like someone that's my niche, you can unrequest and re-request. And if, they're not responding, just delete it. But just think about quality over quantity. You're not going to, if you're a mom and you have 3 kids and you work full time, like, you're not just going to go add like random bodybuilding dudes to your network, right? Like, you want to find people that are kind of like you. So think about that too. And then you can go to your Facebook page, click on friends at the top of your Facebook page bar, click on new friends, and then you can see the new people that have accepted your friend request. And that's a great place to write those names down and start conversations from. So Laura's going to talk to you about how to connect with people on Instagram.
So really quick, just on the friend thing, I was going to say too, another thing that has worked really well for me, and it can be a little sketchy depending on like how many mutual friends you have sometimes, but I went to like my brother and I went to, my sister, and I found friends that maybe we could sort of know mutually, or that I mutually maybe kind of knew from high school, that we did have mutual friends because of that. So I went through his friend list, and I went, you could find people. The one thing you don't want to do is don't start friend requesting, like Jenna, for example, isn't going to go friend request all the moms on my account or Dana's account. Like if I go into Dana, I met her on the moms group. So if I go into the moms group and they're already friends with Dana, I'm like, no. I mean, I'll be friends with them if they wanted to be friends with me, but I'm not going to be pursuing them because those are already Dana's people. You don't need to go friend request a ton of people that already have your known group of Beachbody coaches as friends. But definitely just like use your resources in terms of that. And then so connecting on IG is newer to me, but I've really been loving doing it because it's for whatever reason, it's a little bit less scary than Facebook, because I don't really know the people that I'm connecting with. So I basically made like a list of like 100 different hashtags. What I did is I got on my phone and I just started putting in hashtags and seeing kind of like write the hashtags things, like mountain biking mama or mountain biker or Colorado trail runner or something. And then go and look at the kind of people that are in it. And if it looks like it's a bunch of Beachbody coaches, it's probably not going to be your hashtag because you're going to be hashtagging that. And all you're going to be doing is drawing attention to other Beachbody coaches, which isn't your intention. So you want to try to find hashtags that are going to be unique to you, that maybe have a lot of, like if you're really into like crocheting or something, like go ham on your crocheting network because there's going to be a lot of people. And then you'll go look at crocheting mommies or something, and then go look at people who you're going by the way their profile picture looks basically initially, or whatever picture they posted with that hashtag. But if they look like, oh, they're a cool mom and they're holding a baby in it or whatever, go check out their profile, see if they're cool. You could either go comment on one or two of their pictures that you like, and make sure it's genuine, you guys. I mean, I'm sure if you're working Instagram, you'll get those ones that are like, cool, come check out my profile, or like, cool, sweet. And it's totally like, no, like it's like a post I do that's like really deep and sad. And they're like, amazing, wicked, cool. And I'm like, no, that's really stupid. So make sure you're not that person. But go and like posts for that person, maybe comment on one. You can follow them if you want. Maybe don't do all at once, like write their name down. You've commented on a post, and then like 2 days later go and start following them or something. And then the idea is that they're gonna see that you followed them, and they're gonna go follow you back. If they engage in conversation with your comment, then you could go and private message them too. That's DMing, I think is what they call it on Instagram. But so try to research your hashtags a little bit, and then that will make your 5 IG connects super easy and streamlined. And I tend to do a lot more than 5 because I'm just trying to broaden my network there. But that was what we want you to initially start out doing. Do you want to take the next one, Dana, or add anything to that?
Nope. I think that's really great. You kind of have to think about your brand with the hashtags, same thing. And it's just really cool to like click on those hashtags and scroll through and be like, oh my God, this girl like posts things that are just like me. And the cool thing is with Instagram, when you're like targeting specific hashtags, you already have something in common with that person, right? Mm-hmm. So you already have like a way to connect, and you can start conversations pretty easily about stuff that has nothing to do with health and fitness. And often they're going to start watching you just like people do on Facebook.
Can I say one thing real quick, Dana?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just about the hashtags.
Yep.
So anyways, I've been doing a lot of training on Instagram with like hashtags, but not through learning from other Beachbody coaches, from other business people, other entrepreneurs. And so just a couple of quick things that I've learned that I think has been really helpful is that, number one, so they're constantly changing everything all the time. So for example, like on Instagram before, you could put your hashtags in the comments and it would show your post. And they no longer do that anymore. So when you're going to be doing your hashtags, always make sure that you put them actually in with your post, like your write-up that you're doing. And they will show your post a lot more. Another quick tip is too, if you can try to like when people comment on your Instagram post, the quicker that you can reply to all of those, I'm just gonna, I hear like some noise in the back. I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's like elephants.
Oh, sorry. Elephants.
They're upstairs like running around. It sounds like there are elephants above me.
Another really good tip is Instagram will show your post in more people's feeds. The quicker that you respond to people's comments on your photos, they say to try to get the response in within the first hour, not just hearting it, but actually replying to the comment on your Instagram post. They'll share it more. And I also learned too that 5 Instagram hashtags for each post seems to be the magic number, and to make sure that they actually have something to do with whatever it is that you're posting. So those are the new things that
I'm mind blown. So it's not the 30 anymore?
That's crazy because the training that I paid for and did a month ago, it says 30 and it says it doesn't matter if you post in the comments or in the post.
Yeah, like I literally just watched this it was brand new for 2018 because the algorithm for Instagram has changed.
Yeah.
And it says, definitely have the hashtags up in the post. Also too, when you're typing on Instagram, another great way to get new followers and to start to build new relationships with people is to always tag your location. Like you can do that on there. Tag your location, so I'll tag like Sarasota, Florida, wherever, and never share. I mean, you can do it once in a while, but don't get into the habit of sharing your post from Instagram onto Facebook, because when you do that, Facebook then won't share it as much as they would have if you just copied and pasted it and then uploaded it separately to Facebook. Does that make sense? Every now and then I will share my Instagram post right to Facebook. You know how you can do it when you're on like your phone on Instagram? Because then people will come to me and will follow me on Instagram, but you don't want to do that every single time. So I hope that made sense and helped you guys out. Yeah, I don't know. There's all different kinds. I'm trying to learn from other people that are not Beachbody related.
Well, the training that I paid for wasn't. She was in Instagram, so
I guess you just got to find what works for you. But
and it is ever changing. So
it's always changing. But definitely put the hashtags in with your actual post.
Well, and I feel like I've been doing mine in the comments and I've been getting very little traction other than the tool bags that are like, awesome, check out my profile. So clearly it's not working what I'm doing.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is starting conversations, aka what we call forming, but it's not written like that on this tracker. But forming stands for family, occupation, recreation, and your message. And it's just a little kind of like a lingo of how to really start building relationships with people, whether they're in your warm market or cold market. So warm market means people that you already know, like you've known from the past, maybe an acquaintance or someone you know in real life. Your cold market means just people like you're randomly meeting on the internet, right? So conversations are forming with 5 people who have followed your posts or your stories. And if you're anything like me, you probably have way more than 5 a day to do this with. But if you're doing it consistently and you're tracking who those people are, you're going to find that it's a lot of the same people repetitively, right? So you're looking to find at least 5 new a day. I personally do my Instagram stories and then I click the bottom arrow on the left side and I save it. And then I go and I put them all on the Facebook stories as well. So it's the same thing in both places and it doesn't really take much extra time. But I find a lot of people follow my Facebook stories that don't like or comment on my Facebook posts. So it's a great way to kind of engage and connect with different people. And Instagram, you will find if you are networking on there that people will start following your stories that might not be liking or commenting on anything either. So this is something that you have to do consistently daily or you're going to miss the opportunity to connect with people that are following you, right? So starting these conversations, this is like basic. You are not doing this with any intention to talk about Shakeology or workouts or what you do or anything like that. This is literally to start a conversation and start a friendship or to, further engage and connect with that person. So for example, if somebody has followed my stories, like the other day I went to Trader Joe's, so I uploaded a bunch of pictures of like, these are my favorite things that I love shopping for at Trader Joe's. And I had a ton of people follow it. And I reached out to all those people and I just said, hey, saw you followed my post all about my Trader Joe's food. If you're interested in healthy eating, I have a free meal prep group running right now. And I sent the link for them to join that group. So if your team, if your upline coach or someone, if you're on my team, you're welcome to invite people to that prep group. We also, with the Team Drop the Cookie, have the 25th hour group. That's a great free group to invite people to. But just adding some kind of value, thanking people for following your journey, asking them a question. I actually have a girl who signed up this month just because I saw that she was following my stories for like 5 days in a row. And I reached out and I was like, are you on a fitness journey too? And she was like, no, I used to be, I really want to be, whatever. We got to talking about her goals and bam, she's in my 80-day challenge group now, right? So If you are not starting conversations with people that are following you, you're missing a huge opportunity, and don't be friggin' weird about it. Like, that's the most important thing to remember is like, if you feel weird and you feel awkward starting conversations, they're probably going to sound awkward and they're probably going to feel awkward for them too. But if you're just like, hey girl, thanks for the love and support. Hey, did you see my XYZ that I shared today? Or hey, are you on a journey too? Like, don't be weird. You're just making friends. Have fun with it. I have met the most incredible women through social media, like Laura. Laura and I were total friggin' strangers until we met in a mom group, and now she's one of my best friends. So you literally, if you go into this thinking like, I'm going to meet some cool ass people and make some new friends, and just get out there and connect with new people every day. And Laura's going to talk now about continuing on older conversations and adding value.
Yeah, so what I do in Facebook, and I haven't figured out, maybe you guys have pointers for me. My kids are being so loud upstairs right now. I'm really sorry. They're like screaming and running. I'm glad my husband's like really getting them settled down for bed, as always. Yeah, so I will go through my conversations in Facebook, and I'll like do the whole like scrolling button where I go back like a year at least usually, because obviously I've been doing this for a while now, but like you would be surprised once you get into this and you start having multiple conversations a day, you kind of forget about people sometimes, and whether you left the conversation or they did, you definitely want to go back to the people that, you know, they were the last to talk and you just kind of forgot to follow up, or you forgot, you know, sometimes we'll be like, oh, I'll find conversations where like, yeah, not right now, but maybe next time. And I'm like, shit, that was 10 months ago and I haven't followed up. So I'll be like, oh, hey, how are you? I just came upon our conversation. Like, sorry, I hadn't reached out to you. I don't want you to think I forgot about you. How are you doing with your health and fitness? You know, and just like strike a conversation up again. You don't have to immediately like go for the invite, but kind of remind them in case they're like, you know, deleting conversations or something, remind them that you guys have been talking, and always make it too. I feel like when you make it about them, like, I didn't want you to think I'd forgotten about you, or I didn't want you to think that I didn't include you. Somehow you're, you know, whatever you say to it. But the way you would speak to someone if you saw them and you were like, oh God, we talked like 10 months ago and I forgot to write you back. I'm so sorry, you know, and you may have missed your opportunity, because I know I've done that multiple times where I'm not most organized, so I forget, and then I've missed my opportunity, but it's still, at least reach out, let them know you're thinking about them. And then just other conversations that you have going, just keep them going. You know, if you have someone that you're talking to and you're like, oh, I love your dog, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm so into labs and blah, 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 and they're like engaging, continue that conversation. If they're like, thanks, I mean, you could try one more like engagement, but if they're not engaging back with you, like you shouldn't have to be pulling teeth, you know? Yeah, Kayla's saying, she always says, I hope I don't offend you. And I think that's great to say too, you know? But just try to re-engage in conversation, ask questions, go to their profile and see something maybe new that they post, comment on that. And then that can kind of go into, or you could say, like, I know we were talking about healthy eating and I saw this recipe and thought of you, and send them a recipe of something tasty, you know, like that's soup. There's so many recipes on the Beachbody blog. You guys, if you're not using that, you're missing out. Send them, you know, cut and paste and send them that recipe, or send them the direct link to it. And then those conversations are going to lead to your invites. When I first started, I did some cold inviting. I don't do that really at all anymore. Like, a conversation will lead into that, whether it's saying, you know, I know we talked about you being discouraged about your weight. Have you made any progress? I have a new challenge group coming up on the 15th. I'd love to do this with you. It means so much to me. And then I don't know if she's on here right now. Somebody was messaging me, Maggie, I think is her name, one of my coaches about conversations she was having. And she was saying, she was kind of ending the conversation, which was an invite, with, you know, I'd love to have you join me, yada, yada, yada. Let me know if you're interested. Let me know if you're interested doesn't typically elicit a good response. If they're super interested, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm totally interested. But one of the things that's worked better for me, and maybe Dana and Kathy can share what's worked well for them, but I usually say, like, I'd love to send this information your way. If I send it, will you look at it? Like a yes or no question. I have this new program coming out. There's a great before and afters that I have for it from my experience. If I send them your way, will you check it out and we can talk more about it? Like really asking a question where it might elicit a response. The other thing I found that sometimes works best is if you, this is like so cheesy, but if you write like 7/8 of your message and then you hit send and then you write another message and you're like, oops, I didn't mean to send. So yeah, if you're interested, like, please, like, let's chat later. Maybe we can schedule a time tomorrow or something, so that it turns into 2 messages. Cause sometimes that like alerts people more to like, because you'll have where people, I don't know if you guys have found this, Dana and Kathy, but where you can tell people have looked at it, but they don't respond. And I found sometimes that I get a better response if I like do an oops message as the second message. So just little things that we like.
I do the same thing, Laura, but I don't do like an oops. Like I just send the message and then I'm like, hope you're having an awesome Monday. Or like I say,
right.
like
a second message. Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about sneak peeks, or do you have anything to add on that, Kathy? Your inviting that works well for you?
Nope.
Okay.
I just want to add to that, because you said about like sending a Beachbody blog recipe or something like that. Mm-hmm. Adding value in these conversations, guys, is so huge. And you can do that in a million ways. Like if I see that someone's going through something in their life and I've read an article that I think will be helpful, like I take 2 seconds, I bookmark all of this stuff on my computer. So it's easy to find when I sit down and I'm like, oh, she's having a really tough day. Like, let me send her this quote or whatever. Maybe you don't want to do that because it takes you a ton of time, you think. But if you save these things and bookmark these things and you're using them for yourself, it's really not hard to do. And it just really lets people know you care, which develops your trust in your relationship and therefore makes it a lot easier for them to open up to you about your goals. And just a great thing that's worked for me as well is that whole, are you on a fitness journey too? Or are you a coach as well? Or if you're like, if it's someone that I saw was following my stories when I shared transformations, or liked to post about that, I'll just say like, hey, I have no idea if you were just being supportive, or if you are curious, but if you are, I'd love to chat more about your personal goals and see how I can help. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, I would really want to talk about that. So I'm not doing a direct challenge group invite because I don't even know what the hell they need. So I'm not going to invite them to a challenge group when I don't know if they're ready for something like 80-day obsession. But if I say like, hey, if you have health and fitness goals, I'd love to talk more about it, then a lot of times they say yes and it starts a conversation. So that's a great conversation starter too. But like Laura said, with asking the questions, so you're getting a response back rather than just a comment where they don't even have to respond to it, right?
Can I just add one thing too real quick?
Yep.
I do the same kind of thing too, where I always say, like, I don't assume anybody needs help, but especially like for people who are viewing my story and things like that, like especially if it was to like them like viewing my workout moves or something where I did like an invite to a challenge group on there, and I said that they viewed it, I will always say like, hey, like, thanks so much for, watching my story. It can be kind of a little bit of a shit show sometimes, but this is just real life. Would you be interested in hearing more about our support group, or were you just being supportive of my journey? And I'll just ask them right out. And then just, I found that like a really great tip and a way to kind of get people more committed to joining you is like right from the beginning, when you ask them if they're interested in learning more about it, I always ask them, my like very next question is always like, hey, so like, I'd love to hear more about you first and what your goals are and what are some of the things that you struggle with. So that way I can make sure that I can help you the best way possible. That way, when they go and they lay it all on the line, I know I did like a live video about this in my team page yesterday, but that way, if they go and they lay it all on the line and they say that, yeah, I really need to lose like 35 pounds. I have no, confidence anymore. I feel like crap about myself, yada, yada, yada. And then they decide that they, start coming up with excuses of why they don't want to do it as you keep talking to them. You can always put it now back in their court and like restate the things that they told you. Like, listen, like, you need this in your life. You just told me that you need to lose 35 pounds and that you feel like crap about yourself and that you need support and that you've been putting you on the back burner. Like, I would be the world's worst coach if I sat here right now and was like, all right, yeah, whatever, just come to me when you're ready. I'll be here. Like, you sometimes have to be, that's like your job as a coach. Like, you do have to get, bold and get that confidence and just say, like, listen, you need this. You're going to love this. I'm going to be doing this with you every step of the way, and kind of speak to them with that kind of confidence. But finding out their goals like right off the bat has worked really, really well.
I agree with that 100%. It makes it so much more personalized when you know what they need help with and you can remind them why. Especially too, this is a total side note, but guys, if you're getting the same responses or same objections or same, like, I need to lose 30 pounds or I have no idea what the hell to eat, make a public post about that. Take that objection and make it into a post of how you overcame that, or how someone in your challenge group overcame it, or how someone in your challenge group has lost that 30 pounds, or how they're a busy mom and they made time. Like, those are so impactful. And a lot of times people see those posts and then they're like, hey, I'm ready. So look for those opportunities. The next thing on the tracker here is inviting 3 people to a challenge group. And that's pretty self-explanatory, but also not really if you're like anything like I was in the beginning. I totally word vomited all over people. I was just like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Like, you should really join me. I love these DVDs. Like, it was awful. So failing forward is totally fine. That's how you learn. It's how you get more well-versed. It's how you learn how to use lingo that works for you and works for other people. But you have to be inviting, guys. Don't expect that you're just going to make a post on Facebook and people are going to flock to you and you're going to fill up your challenge group. That will happen sometimes. People will reach out to you, but you have to be doing the work of inviting daily. And I just want to put this out there. I was actually going to go live in the training today, but I didn't have time, and just explain to you that no is not a forever thing. The majority of people that I help are people that I follow up with. These are people, like, there is a rule that it takes about 5 to 7 times of you inviting or putting something in front of somebody's face until you go out and buy it. And you can think about this, like, if you sit down and you watch a TV commercial and you're like, oh, that shampoo looks good. And every time you see it, you're like, maybe I should try that. It'll make my hair silkier, right? And like, you see that commercial 7 times, and next time you go to Walmart, you put that shit in your cart, right? It's like the same thing that we're doing with inviting. We're putting ourselves in front of people and giving them the opportunity. And disconnect from the response. Don't get defeated. Don't take it personally. Don't think that you're a shitty coach. Don't think that you don't have value to offer. Don't think that you can't help people if people tell you no. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. But if you ask, the answer sometimes might be no, but down the road, it might be a yes. Okay. So go into your conversations and your invites with that confidence, knowing that if it's not right for them right now, it might be time down the road. And the cool part about that is timing is different for everybody. I said no to my coach for 4 months, and here I am building this business 4 years later. So like, you never know who is telling you no. Don't give up on those people. With invites specifically, it is extremely important that you have a challenge group running every single month, or that you are running a challenge group with your coach or with some coaches on your team, because if you don't have a challenge group running every month, you have nothing to invite to, and then you're in trouble, right? So if you are a brand new coach, I don't know how Kathy does it. I have my new coaches run a challenge group with me their first month, just so they can kind of see how it works. Don't feel so stressed out about like, how do I post? How do I get people to engage? I only have 3 people that join me. You can team up with other coaches on the team. Say, hey guys, I want to do a 21-day fixed challenge group starting on the 21st. Does anybody want to team up and do it with me? There's challenge group guides in your back online office that literally give you content you can pull from, schedule, make it your own. It is like beginner's status, right? Like, so easy to do, but you have to be having something to invite to. And so here's a little trick that works amazing for me. And I didn't do this as a new coach, but it's something that I've been doing for probably, 2 years now. And that is, at the beginning of every month, I schedule out my month, and typically my challenge group prep week will start on the 2nd Monday of the month, and the challenge group will start on the 3rd Monday. And so that way you have 2 windows of opportunity to invite to your groups, right? Because from the get-go on the 1st of the month, or even at the end of the last month, you can start inviting people and say, hey girl, I have a new challenge group starting on XYZ. We're going to be focusing on, simple clean eating. There's meal plans, there's da-da-da. Like, I know you wanted to lose 30 pounds. love to have you join us. It's so helpful to have a supportive community, right? In that Power Hour scripts that I put in the training, there are sample scripts you can look at. So I'm not just like saying this and you're like, what did she say? Wait. You can go look at those scripts for ideas of how to write these things out. But when you're inviting to that prep week, you have an entire window, and typically you can find a few people to help before your prep week even starts, right, of your challenge group. And then what happens is when your prep group start date rolls around, which is, that Monday, now you have a week opportunity to invite people and follow up with everybody that didn't respond, that said, I'm not really sure, I have to watch the videos, let me talk to my husband, I don't know, I'm kind of scared, whatever, to follow up with those people and say, hey, I know you were considering, I have a few spots left. I'd love to have you join us. We start next Monday. It takes 5 to 7 days for your package to arrive. And what this does, guys, is it creates a sense of urgency without you being pushy, because nobody wants to feel like they're being pushed or pulled or dragged into spending money or making change, right? That feels icky. It feels salesy. It'll turn people off. It'll make them not want to respond. But if you say like, hey, I'm here to help you, I'd love to have you join us, and I just want to let you know that this is when we start, it makes them feel like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, I really want to be a part of this and I don't want to miss it, right? And that's when a lot of people will say yes. So planning your challenge group out like that with the prep week and then the start date gives you 2 windows of opportunity to invite to. And like I said, again, check out the scripts for actual sample invites for that. Did I cover that all, Kathy, Laura?
That was good. Yeah. And
Yeah. We should
did,
move on to stories.
yeah, you just made me think of something that when you were saying earlier, like, oh, you weren't sure what I did with my newer coaches when they first came on. So I just wanted to share actually something that my really successful newer coaches have been doing. It might help you guys out. I actually never even told them to do this. My newer coaches have been like blowing it out of the water, but they came on, and what they did, a good handful of them, right from the beginning, they went and they created their own like support group on Facebook, basically. Like, I didn't even tell them to do this. Like, they came up with their own basically team name. They like made their own cover photo for it. They added people, not unless they got permission, but they went through and they basically were just adding people who wanted support just in life with their health and fitness, not to purchase anything. So now they have these like groups on Facebook that they're running that have like 50 or something people in there. And every day they have been posting like a tip about something or a motivational quote or a recipe or like a sweet treat for dessert or just really, really helpful things. And because they did that and they're just adding value, basically, I mean, it's all people who said they want to be there. They want help with their health and fitness. Like, these coaches were able to come on and like hit Success Club right out of the gate their first month as a coach. So I think that like taking ownership too, right from the beginning, and like coming up with like that team name, it just makes it feel way more real. And like, this is your own thing. Like, you're really in this when you have like your own thing that you're running. So just wanted to share that because they've been having a lot of fun with it, and they've been getting people signed up like past couple months now just from running those groups. So I thought that was a pretty brilliant idea.
And super quick, piggybacking on that, one of my coaches did the same kind of thing. She's had a team page since the beginning, and it's not her like coaching team page. It basically is where she puts every single person that joins her team. So it's like a community page, and I didn't do that from the beginning, and I just think it's been so awesome. Like, I've since started it, but I think that that's like a great thing for new coaches to do, so that like, even if it's just you and your first challenger in there, like, you can provide value and share recipes or just yeah, that's Kelly Riley. Kelly is the one that did that. And I've, gone on that since then, but, just so that they feel that sense of community where everyone is welcomed into the team, So anyway, continue, Kathy. Sorry. I just wanted to say that I feel like that's worked really well for Kelly. So
yeah, those are great ideas. And it gets you used to posting in the group, you know what I mean? And posting in the group and sharing and adding value right from the beginning. So is that it right there before I go into Instagram stories, Dana, or do we have some more here?
No, we're not done yet. We'll try. Wishful thinking. We'll try to speed up the rest of the process. I just want to make sure, since most people have never done any of this, that they kind of understand, but we'll try to crank through the rest of it. Laura, do you want to, well, I already kind of covered follow-ups with what I was talking about.
Yeah, and I feel like I did follow-ups earlier, so I'm a little confused actually about that part. But didn't I? Continue on 5 old convos and add value.
No. Didn't you do?
I did do that, but okay. So anyway, follow-ups is just going back and following up with all, anyone that's like said no and maybe next time or anything like that. And then so you guys kind of get that. Keep conversations going, follow up, invite again. People will come around, like Kathy said, 6 months, 2 years, 4 years later and be like, oh, okay, now I trust you and now I'm ready. Or they've had a baby and they're ready, whatever. One thing you need to start doing is posting. This says post 2 quality posts on Facebook and IG. I think even if you post 1 quality post a day and then maybe like a picture of your dog with, like quality means like get vulnerable, share something about your life or you or something that's going to not only touch your audience, but also add value to their lives, whether it's just like, oh, I don't feel so alone in my fear or anxiety or whatever it may be. It doesn't all have to be like deep, but just try to share stuff that like has affected you and how you're overcoming it. And then I don't think we need to cover anything on stories because Kathy's going to do stories in a second here. But basically add to your story daily. And then Kathy's going to talk all about that. Any comment, this is like, I'm hell-bent on this one. Any comment, and Kathy said about the importance on IG, I guess, timely, and I didn't know about that, but trying to respond within the hour. So I guess I should turn my notifications on for that. But on Facebook, anyone that comments on your stuff, there's a little button underneath it that says reply. You want to reply to that and reply to their comment, like in an engaging form, and any comment that's on there, because that your comments count as comments as well, and comments help bring it back in the news feed, get it more exposure. The more, if Facebook sees 30 comments on a post, they're like, oh, that's a cool post. We're going to put that in a few more times an hour or whatever. However that works. So recognition, you want to be recognizing, that's one of our vital behaviors now. So you want to be recognizing your challengers and your coaches on a regular basis. So I still kind of suck at this, to be honest, but try to recognize coaches in your team page daily and challengers in your challenge groups. And that's part of your power hours, going into your challenge group and checking in on people, and then recognizing people that are going above and beyond or who had a shitty day and still worked out. Like, shout them out on the team page. It literally, like, I don't forget it. When I was first in a challenge group with Dana, and I got, like, one time I won something, and another, she did a challenge once. I probably was the only person that did it, but you had to like dress up in like 80s clothes and like post it to Facebook and then tag her. And I totally did it. I think that's when she was like, ooh, she could be a coach. And it was like my like 12-year-old daughter's clothing that didn't even fit me. It was heinous. But so recognize your people for that, because I vividly remember like when Dana used to say like, great job, or I'm so proud of you. Like, I'd get like the warm fuzzy feeling and be so psyched. So don't forget that part of your power hour. And then check in, looks like Dana checked out. Check into your team page, and then try to use something that you have found. Oh, there's a child in here. Try to use something that you figured out in your business. It says implement 1 to 2 new things that you know will help you or your business. And that part of that is doing your power hour and, making conversations, doing a meaningful post, that kind of stuff. Dana, I kind of just flew through that stuff there.
I just had, my kid is screaming now. He's like exhausted and ready for bed, so I might have to go. But I just want to add one thing to follow-ups, and it works like magic. And that's saying like, hey girl, I know that last month wasn't the best time for you, or I know that, you weren't able to get started because of your job or your kids or your whatever. I just want to check back in and see if this month was better for you, and then send your invite again. And that works awesome. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, it does that for me too. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything to add, Kathy, before you take over?
Nope, that's it. Just basically that, I mean, it really is super simple. People will always say, like, I don't understand, you know, like, how did you earn 6 figures with this business? And I literally take out the tracker. And I mean, it can be however you want it to be with the tracker written in your notebook. Like, it doesn't really matter, but it's these actions, these activities done every single day, compounded over time, that really builds your business. So make sure you have it out and you actually do it every single day. So I'm going to make this really quick, guys, because we never intend for these calls to be like going long for you, because we know you have other calls during the week. But I really do want to touch on Instagram stories. When we recreated this group, and Laura, myself, and Dana put it together, one of the main reasons and one of the main things that we knew why we needed to redo it was because we needed to make it more relevant with what was really working well with newer coaches and coaches in general on the network on social media. And one of those things, one of the key things, is Instagram, specifically Instagram stories. So even if you're a brand new coach and you don't have an Instagram account, like I had some newer coaches, guys, they just went out there, they created an Instagram account. You know, get out there, create an Instagram account, be proactive, be a self-starter, get on YouTube. Like, YouTube was my best friend. It still is, especially now as I'm relearning social media and how to do better at it, especially on Instagram stories. And I'm not saying that you can't build a business, obviously, on Facebook at all. You can, but I have found that I am having much better success the more consistent that I am using Instagram stories. Okay, so I think it is seriously so important that everybody has an Instagram account. So if you don't have one, just go out there and create one. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Instagram stories. I'm seriously just going to spend 5 minutes, guys, because this is another whole call in itself. And we actually want to put together like a specific Instagram training for you guys that will maybe be a follow-up to this Ambition Academy. But wanted to still touch on this because it's important that you're using it. So you're going to create your Instagram account. So Instagram stories, guys, couple key things here. Number one, honestly, I truly think that the business has never been more fun. Never been more fun now that we've been able to use Instagram stories and just stories in general. And so what I do is, and what I'm recommending to you is, you have at least 9 snippets on your stories. They're 14 seconds long if you do like a video or you want to show a workout move or whatever it is, 14-second clips, and you want to have at least 9 of them. Now, your success with finding followers and having more people watch your story and view your story is going to be the same exact ripple effect of you posting on Facebook. The more you post and show up on Facebook, the more consistent you are over time, the more people that will come to you. It's the exact same thing with your Instagram stories. So it's important that you're doing it every single day, that you're having fun with it, and that you're sharing a real wide variety of your life in general. People love Instagram stories, and the reason why this is becoming like the most #1 way to build your business is because it's real life. It's reality. It's not edited. It's not made or meant to look pretty. You're just, this is as it is. This is my shit show cluster F of a life with my kid waking up at, 2 a.m., 4:30 a.m., and I'm getting 3 hours of sleep. Okay. It's, people want to see real life, real things that are going on. So you want to make it engaging for them. So you want to do a combination now, guys, of different things. Number one, you want to make sure that your designs that you're using and the pictures that you're using are obviously bright. So one of the things that I have is this ring light here. One of my coaches told me about it a long time ago, probably 1.5 years ago about it. You can get it on Amazon. I think it was my coach Courtney who told me about it. It's a little mini ring light. It's like $10 or something like that on Amazon. You can get all different kinds. And you literally just clip it on your phone over your camera. So that way, if like you're doing video at night or in a darker room, you can turn it on and you will look well lit. So you want well lit photos, whether that means you're standing in front of a window and doing it, or doing videos outside, or using a ring light, whatever it is. You want well lit photos that will capture people's attention. Number two, you want to do a mix of different things on your stories. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do. You can do just regular photos. You can do boomerangs. Those are fun. You can do short snippet videos, which are like literally 14 seconds. Like I said, if you want to do a little 14-second clip of like a workout move, You can put your music on. I put my music on my phone. It's all from my phone. I have Google Play Music. I put a song on. I flip my camera around. I do my video. I do it after I do my workout, by the way. I don't try to do it during my workout because it takes way too much time and then I don't get my workout done. And as you do it, just save the videos. So anything that you're doing during the day, like if you're super busy, like just save it all to your phone. You don't have to upload it right away. And that's what I do. A lot of times I can't post things up right away on my story. So I will save a good like 4 or 5 things in a row on my phone. And when I get a chance, I will put it up. So you can do the boomerang, you can do a video, you can do yourself in a video. Really good thing to do, guys, is when you get objections from people and people are telling you like, hey, like, I wish I could do what you do, but I just don't have the time or I don't have the money. Let's just think about it, right? You guys all have the exact same objections. I know I did before I became a coach. I said, I don't have any money. How the hell am I ever going to have time to do this? What I do is I turn the camera around and I try to do this at least 4 times a week. You can do whatever works for you. But instead of making a long post about it, make a little video of it on your phone, 14-second clips. You know, I've been talking to a lot of people. A lot of people tell me that they love to do what I do, but they feel like they don't have enough time. And I totally understand because I felt the exact same way when I first started. I had a 4-month-old and a 22-month-old. I was nursing all hours of the night. But what I found was that I didn't need to sit down and watch 3 or 4 hours of TV every single night. I could very easily dedicate small windows of time to build my business. 30 minutes here, an hour here, 30 minutes there. So it can literally be whatever you want it to be. You don't need a lot of time to build your business. You need to just be consistent with it over time. So however, I'm just giving you an example, however you would phrase it in your own words. But that's a really good way to address it because there's people watching you who are wondering the same thing. So overcoming objections on your stories is really, really helpful. Make sure you can upload like, you want to do like different motivational things. Obviously, we're health and fitness coaches. So you do want people to see that you're doing something health and fitness related every day. Whether you take a picture of your salad for lunch, okay, and then you post what ingredients are in it. Whether you take a picture of your superfood shake. You're not going to call it Shakeology. You're going to call it your superfood shake or whatever you want to call it, your mama fuel, whatever, and you're going to post that up. Whatever, you made those chickpea brownies, post it up, share the recipe. That's adding value. You find a motivational quote that you really like. What I do is if you go onto Instagram stories and you swipe over to the, let me just double check it so I'm not saying the wrong thing here. Yeah, if you swipe over to the right, they have this whole thing here. It's called type. It looks like this. Tap to type. You can like change the background color of it and stuff like that. And what you do is I just type the quote right on it. I just type my quote that I like right on it. And then you can upload it to your story. Every single little snippet, this is where it gets really important. Every single little clip that you add to your story, always put a hashtag with it and always tag a location. And you want to shrink those down and make them really small because you don't want them to distract from the content that you're sharing. So that's really key. You want it to look clean when people are looking at your story. So you want it to look clean, not a ton of words. And sometimes people can get a little carried away with like all the different things. And then when they're supposed to be listening to you talk, for example, they're reading all the words that you have on there. So hashtag everything, shrink it way down. Like you can shrink, you can just pinch your fingers together, put it down to the bottom so that people can't even see what it says. Same thing with location. And you don't need to tag the location of really where you are. So for example, I tag locations all over the place. I'll tag Boston, Massachusetts. I'll tag Sarasota. I'll tag Anna Maria Island. I'll tag other places near me. I'll tag Arizona. I just tag all different places. And sometimes I'll find like fitness centers in the area here or gyms in the area, and I'll tag that and I'll shrink it down. And that is so when people go onto Instagram and they are searching for those locations, my story will actually pop up. So it's a way to get new followers and be able to reach out and build new connections with those people. Okay, so for every single snippet, you want to hashtag and tag the location. Use the poll. There's a poll. You can make a poll and ask people a question, and it could be anything. Like, hey, what I don't even know, what LaCroix water Should I get the mango one? Yes, no, whatever. And people love just giving their opinions on things. So you don't even need to use the poll piece for health and fitness related. It could literally be for anything that you want. People just love giving their feedback. They love giving their input and giving their advice. Okay, so, and then you can look at that. Like I posted one the other day, do you like listening to Bob Marley too? And you can see, who has clicked yes and who has clicked no. So you can reach out to those people who said yes. You know you have something in common with them, and you can start a conversation with them about Bob Marley. You want to give people like a reason to check back on your story. So make it interesting. Like you could say things like gonna be sharing something exciting tomorrow, can't wait. And you can actually type it up and then you can share your thing. If you get somebody signed up or somebody sends you a message like, thank you so much. Like I can't wait to get started in your support group. It's gonna be awesome. Screenshot it. Like put it on your story and say, excited for this new challenger to be joining us. She's a mom of 3, whatever. Same thing if you get a new coach, Brianna, mom of 4, full-time working mom of 4, whatever it is. People can see that you're actually getting people to join you. People are joining you. So highlighting those different things. Let's see here. And again, like I said, I save all of these things. I save them. I click the save button. And once I upload it to Instagram, then I go to Facebook and I upload the exact same story onto Facebook. And so again, you can look at the end of the day, what I do, this is what I spend all my time doing, is I spend, like when I get off this call, I will look at my Instagram stories and I'll look at my Facebook stories, and I make a running list of all the people who have viewed it. It will show you, and it'll start out small at first, guys. Like you might have like 12 people viewing, but the more that you add to your story every day, every week, you'll gain more, especially if you're hashtagging and tagging the locations. And then I'll reach out to those people and I'll connect with them and build relationships with them. If there's someone who just viewed like a regular post that I put up in my story of like, I don't know, just my kids, I'll just start a regular conversation like, hey, like, thanks so much for watching my day. Like, it was kind of hell on earth, but, do you have little kids too? And like, oh my gosh, like, when are they going to sleep through the night? They're 5 and 4. I feel like I'm going to die over here. Things like that. If they're viewing my actual workout moves or watching, like I took a video of you guys all on this call earlier. I'll put that up in my story after this. Like, hey, listen, like, thanks so much for viewing my story. Our team is freaking awesome. Were you looking to learn more about possibly joining our team? It's a ton of fun. I will actually specifically say that to those people. So it's different based on who actually is viewing those stories. But that's what I spend all my time doing, is commenting and connecting with those people. And then I spend a lot of time going to their walls too, guys, and commenting on their actual things that they share too. That's really important. So it's not like a one-way road. I think that's it. Let me just make sure I got it all. Whew. That's basically it. Like I said, I could have another whole hour on this, but my most important takeaway from that and tip is to just get on Instagram and try it out. And I forgot to mention this, the great news is that your content only lasts up there in stories for 24 hours. After that, it gets deleted away anyway. So even if you totally screw it up and you're like, oh, damn, why did I post that? It's gone in 24 hours, so it's not a big deal. So does anybody have any questions on that? Did I do good with that, Laura? Is there anything else that you can think of that I might have missed?
No, I feel like that was great. I was taking notes too because I feel like I'm always learning. Yeah. Hi. You can also, if you just like hate something that you posted on the stories, you can delete them.
Yeah, you can. So you can go back into the story.
Right. You don't have to wait the 24. I've a few times been like, oh, that just isn't like what the vibe I want to be putting out or whatever. Right. I'll delete my stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think just have fun with it. It's just, I forget sometimes. I definitely post a lot of my workouts. Like, I think sometimes I forget to post more of my real life. And I think that's really important too, because people just like posting vulnerable posts, like that stuff people can relate to. So for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right. Well, if there's no questions, keep rocking it out, guys. And I just wanted to say real quick too.
Hi to all of you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, we love you too. You're so cute. She's so cute. Remember, guys, this is for like brand spanking new coaches. you want to make like becoming an Emerald coach your 1 week goal. So 1 week from today, plan on next Thursday waking up as an Emerald coach. And if you need more tips on that, like make sure to reach out to myself or any of the other leaders here or your upline coach, and we will help you get there. All right. Thanks for being on, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.